Okay, just got the moon going through the camera. I'm hitting pause here and there. This is a video, a History Channel series for Suey Bird, Part 20. They're not the best moon videos, but they're okay. I'm just gonna use these for a minute while I'm shooting the shit. So I just got cut off because I got made it to 45 minutes on the video, and I get sick of saying shit, and then I end up losing part of the video because I don't know what the hell I'm doing making videos. So, anyways, 45 minutes seems good enough anyway. So what I was starting to say to Candace, because I'm running Candace's videos in the background for background, and I'm trying to explain to you, Candace, if you hopefully you'll come to these videos one day, even though you'll have ego and got a big name for yourself and everything like that. Hopefully, one of your fans will send you to these videos. Is the idea, and you'll give them a chance. And I was starting to say that to act surprised about a lot of the stuff that you're acting surprised about is ridiculous. It's nonsensical. I really think that you're really close to stepping back outside another box that's going to take you to a whole new level. Um, and I hope that you do. I hope that you take me up on this. All right, so I was starting to say in the last video that you're ranking out the thieves, but yet with the somebody like a banker I could compare it to takes $1.50 to $4 every time you use a debit card. So that's millions of dollars a month from millions of Americans to use their debit cards. Everybody then thinks that they're going to outsmart the system by doing money back when they go grocery shopping and they do money back. Well, that's not true either, because all the owners of those cards, as you well know, they tax the store. So if they're going to not only tax the taxes, not only federal taxes, but also there's a charge for using their service, whether it's a Visa, MasterCard, debit card, whatever debit card it is, there is a fee. You know that, right? So like if you go buy something at Walmart and you think you're going to slick out the system, well, I'll save and I won't pay $1.50 at the teller window, but it doesn't matter. The store's already charging you the fees anyways on anything that you're purchasing there in the first place. So the money always gets taken. Is my point. That's thievery. That's stealing from people. But because you tell them ahead of time, because it's made a law that bankers are allowed to charge $1.50 to $4 every time someone wants to take their own money out. And then you get governments involved, and it just gets worse and worse. So someone like right now they're going after anyone with $600 or more in their account. They're going after them for taxes, even though they just gave out several stimulus packages. They want to make sure the stimulus package went right back into the system. It's pretty amazing. So again, isn't that thievery and skullduggery? The same shit you're talking about. These guys that are going smash and grabs and all that shit. Now, granted, I don't want to see anybody get hurt, and I don't, to being hurt emotionally or physically. I mean, it sucks. So to see the stores getting broke into, and if it's a big name store, of course we're not going to feel as bad as if it's a small mom and pop place and stuff. And then of course if somebody gets hurt, then the other thing that sucks is we're lied to so much, so often, that we don't even know which one of these freaking stories about people getting killed and murders is real or not. We don't know, seriously. I mean, it's that bad that we are lied to about absolutely everything. So when someone really does die and someone really does get killed or murdered or something like that, it's just used to prop up narratives, and it might be real, and then I don't even have any faith in the story. I need to hear it and see into the person's eyes and stuff like that. Like that, the girl that got killed last week in the store, stabbed to death, right? The father came out. So I don't know. The old man looks like he's not CIA. He don't seem to be. Um, he doesn't look like a psyop type to me, or anything like that. But who knows? I mean, it's so hard to tell. Maybe he's just a really good actor. Usually you can see the fake actors because their acting sucks so bad. Um, yeah, when they're out there. In other words, when they're trying to take away Second Amendment rights and stuff like that, which again I explain in other videos. It's all thievery, all right? So you're on here bitching about the girl, the 16-year-old girl who tried stabbing that other girl to death, and then the cop gets a bunch of shit for shooting the girl. So the cop saved somebody's life, and that's a good thing. And I see your point and everything like that. I get you. But I just want to say, I mean, there's a lot of rage in your voice over that story. And I just heard you talking about another one right before this, and there's a lot of anger and upsetness, which is great. I don't get me wrong. I think that you should have that kind of anger. I wish everybody did. But here's my point. Okay, Biden just did this whole fiasco in Afghanistan, and although you're bitching about it, you don't hear the strength in your voice. I don't see the strength in your face and the anger about not only the 13 soldiers that were killed, the American soldiers, but all the other 2,000 that were left behind, and they're all dying every day too, and they're doing a lot of bad stuff to them and stuff. I mean, it really sucks for all those people that are over there. So again, if it's politics and politicians who do it, then you'll bitch about it. But I don't see the same anger as I do for just the average Joe who's on the street killing people. But if it's Joe in the White House killing people, it seems to be more forgiving. You're more forgiving of it, right? All these things that are all happening are purposeful, and we knew about it for a long time. Now, the average person, in other words, the 10,000 people over the years that I've been pumping, yeah, they definitely don't get it because they believe whatever is on their news and whatever is on their television, and they won't go look for themselves. But you are claiming to go look at things for yourselves and see things for what they are, and I'm trying to run audio, video, and talk at the same time. I'm not that good at doing this. Oh, I think this is that Korean girl that you were pissed off about too, coming from North Korea. That's the same thing. I mean, you're again to Candice. You're angry and upset about these communist countries doing these communist things and stuff like that. I get you. But we're doing the same exact thing here, only the difference is we call it capitalism. And you're going to say to me, no, because just the fact that you're making these videos makes it free for you to do so. And I'm telling you, no way. No, that's not true. I'm just going beyond and above and beyond because I don't feel safe making these videos to tell people the things that I'm telling them. There's no safety in anything anymore that we do. Everybody's locked down, right? Some examples of that. By the way, we're looking at the moon. These are just moon videos, if I didn't already say that. I'm just pausing and playing, pausing and playing. I was going to put a filter on, but I'm not going to bother. What we did to the families, growing up since I'm 50 years old. You're younger than me, so you'll remember some of this, maybe just that you heard about it. Anyways, it was fucked up to watch because what we did over the years, locking people up in prisons, and this is what's going to happen when Trump comes back in. Every time it goes from Democrats will come in, crush a bunch of shit. Republicans come back in claiming that you're going to get all your freedoms back. They never do. They never come back. All those ridiculous laws that were started, no, never happens. Just laws get worse and worse. That's why you were saying a few minutes ago about them wanting to get rid of the police. Getting rid of the police does not mean there's not going to be anybody guarding the prisoners. It's not going to work that way. Or zombie slaves, as I like to call everybody. I'm trying to think of new terminology so I don't offend anyone, but we're all zombies. And in order to keep all the zombies in place, then it's going to be the military that's going to come in and do that. So that's why they're getting rid of police. And what I was starting to say earlier, and I ran off on it, was about back when the towers came down. When the towers came down, and we'll have to talk about that again more later, then it gave Bush the right to go ahead and implement a lot of shit. So just recently I heard you bitching about the Patriot Act. They were used the Patriot Act in order to go after parents. Big freaking deal, Candace. I mean, they were doing that under Obama. Under Obama, they went after all the Tea Party members and hit them hard, man. Then you also had Obamacare come out. When Obamacare came out after the first year, and they did all the same shit they're doing, but they always do. In other words, all of Obama's Obamacare, his bill, right? You had Nancy Pelosi out there at that time saying, you can't read what's in it, it's too much. So you just sign it and we'll read it later and say shit like this, right? So you knew it all the way back then, even under Obama, you could see how it was going. And then anyways, what that Obamacare did was he hired 7,500 new IRS agents, and they were going to be in charge of the Obamacare thing. So in other words, if you were not going to have medical insurance, it was going to now be mandatory to have medical insurance, but they won't call it mandatory because you have a right to not have it. Of course, you live in America, they told us, but you're going to pay $1,000 a year fine after the first year, and then it's going to go up to $2,500 a year after the second or third year. So then all of a sudden, when Trump came in, Trump tried to squash all that and put that to rest. But the Obamacare, known as, like, let's say in our state, it's mass health. It's known as mass health already. So even though the federal government will stop one portion of it, it doesn't stop the rest of it. So we've seen all this shit happening as we went down the line. So, anyways, under Reagan, we started a lot of bad laws. Along with increasing Planned Parenthood, you also had started what was called family court. And the family court was going to bring in every person, whether guilty or innocent, was going to get screwed. And it was the start of the tear up of the family, especially, and I don't want to be race baiting shit or anything, so when I say especially the blacks, the numbers on black people were just higher on a lot of this shit. I think it was part of the plan, obviously, but they were not the only zombies. The whites were the zombies too. So not that I think there's an excuse for that, really, though, because I was telling everybody as we went along. So if nobody in my, let's say, 2,000 people that I could reach out to, and then plus Facebook and whatever, whoever I could reach out to was not going to get on board with any of the ideas that everything we were ever told has been a lie, and I just knew it. Even before I even know what the actual truth is about it, I already know it's a lie because it's coming out of a human mouth. And if it comes out of a human's mouth, it's a fucking lie. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. I'll find you all the lies. There'll be a whole bunch of them in there. No one can ever tell the total truth in a whole entire sentence. Even if it's a 3-word sentence, there's lies in there. Who knows? It could be just the way we spell it, the way we pronounce it, whatever. There's going to be a lie. Guarantee it. Anyways, so we started breaking up the family under Planned Parenthood. I'm going to hit play. And a lot of people got screwed with that. So let's say, and then they also started under Reagan, was started by the police, federal laws that went in and it trickled down state to state, and everybody got them, pretty much everybody, which was, if the police are called for a domestic, there's no more talking it out and acting like a counselor anymore. they were going to show up there and someone was going to jail. And it's the first thing they told any arguing spouses. So if a couple was arguing, they would always say, well, you know, you called us in, neighbors reported the arguing, you both got scratches on you, so who is it? Which one of you is going? Right? So they know that there used to be a saying back in the 80s. We got used to making up this saying, and we went along with it. Could have been implemented by the CIA for all I know, but whoever makes it to the phone first wins. Right? So that was the saying back then. Whoever makes it to the phone first wins. And everybody knew this. So you had women that wanted to call and get their husband or boyfriend in trouble and get them locked up, even if they did not hit them, even if there was no real violence. We had a lot of people even causing damage to themselves and then in a drunken stupor fall down some stairs in one case that I know, and all kinds of other shit. And then they would call and report the other person. Now the other person is just as drunk as they are, and they don't even realize, did I push the person down the stairs? They don't know, but they got fucked for it. So what would happen is that somebody would have to go to jail. So then all of a sudden, fathers are getting ripped out of their homes for that reason as well. Also under that Reagan, the Republican that you all loved so much and you thought he was so great and he tried so hard. Bullshit, man. He put in more shit than, just as much shit as anybody else. I mean, it was all shit. And nobody paid attention. Nobody paid attention. Even all these years later, here you are, guys, you Republicans are beefing him up as if he was something great. I kept hearing Reagan being quoted, yesterday and this morning, listening to your videos and stuff. And you got people on Fox boasting them up and everything like that. No, there is no such thing as a good politician. They're all lying motherfuckers. And that's not just a saying. That's not just... where it's all purposeful. It's purposeful that they're all lying motherfuckers. Keep everybody distracted. Keep everybody separated, Anyways, back to this father and leaving the home thing. So that was one batch of dads that got taken out, would have been for that. They got in an argument with their wife, and dad's got to now leave. And then dad gets locked up, and he's got to go to court. Can't even afford fucking bail. The bails were probably, at the time, if I remember right, 1,000 to 2,000, something like that, depending on if it was. And then even verbal threats. If someone, a neighbor, heard someone make a verbal threat, I'll fucking kill you, or some shit like that, out of anger, that's it. That's all it took. So then verbal threats got thrown into it. If you did not respond to the warrant, let's say a warrant gets put out on you, back then they started it under Reagan, where let's say the spouse leaves for the night, and then the cops get there, the wife, it's not always the wife, but I'm just using this scenario, okay? So again, I'm not prejudiced against women on this, but a lot of the times what would happen is the wife would tell the cops, fill out the report, and then everybody's, again, drunk and stupid, so nobody does anything about it. In other words, the report was put out that he hit her, right? So she writes it down, but he left. He took off. He left with his brother. Well, do you know where he's going? No. Well, okay, when he comes home, well, he doesn't live here. Okay, well, he's the father of your children? Yes. Okay, well, you can't say he lived there because there was other circumstances going on that some of them could not tell anybody. So anyway, so the old man takes off, and he's goes out with his friends or whatever. A week or two goes by. He goes and makes up with his wife. She never says nothing about it. And then a year goes by. Well, that was another new law. If you let a year go by, that misdemeanor argument threat, that was just a threat. He said he was going to fucking kill me and he pushed me or something like that, right? And then, so just even for a verbal threat or an assault, they would have, you get automatically seen as a felony. So that charge automatically, if you let a year lapse. So all of a sudden they get pulled over one day, right? The father gets pulled over and he's like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm back. I'm with my wife. I remember that argument or whatever. When he goes in front of the judge, he don't even know what the hell's going on. And then all of a sudden you realize, like, oh, that argument that I had, yeah, so what? I don't remember saying that, And It didn't matter. The damage is already done. Breaking up the family unit, taking the fathers out all the time. This is all Republican way. I'm trying to explain to you is this is the way the Republicans do what you're now watching the Democrats do. They all tear it apart. And the same way you're bitching about the police being fucked with, the police were being armed to the hilt back under Bush. So under Bush, what happened was we turned them into RoboCops, is what we used to call them back in the day. We turned all the police into RoboCop. Next thing you know, they're fully fucking armed. They got the full vest and everything like that. And you're thinking to yourself, wait a minute, what's this guy think he's freaking, this is unbelievable. All the cops are dressed like this. We're living in rural neighborhoods with very little violence. I mean, we don't even have any murders yearly. Murders happen every once in a blue moon. We have more suicides, drug overdoses, that kind of shit. But we'd have to go to Springfield or Hartford or the next big city, maybe even Holyoke, before we start getting daily shootings. When I used to live in Holyoke, there were shootings every day. I mean, yeah, people were always shooting each other then. But my point being is that with the police all being done up the way they were, it was very intimidating. So you still have these soldier-looking cops now pulling people over for traffic violations. What's a traffic violation? Could be anything. A smelly thing hanging from your mirror? Are you serious? They had to give the police so many different reasons to pull people over, so all these terrible laws came into play. And I'm mentioning them because I did not see you or Trump tearing down any of those laws when Trump was in office. I'm trying to get you outside the box. Realize that they're all full of shit. All sides. They're all liars. You might even be a purposeful liar. I don't know. You're mainstream, so I'll be suspicious of you and wary of you. So I mean, how stupid is that? A smelly thing hanging from someone's mirror gives the police the right to pull them over. What, they don't have enough common sense to look over and see through the smelly thing if someone's there? I mean, drivers can't be trusted for these things. It's ridiculous, Every law that we started with cars, with the seatbelts and shit like that, again, gave the police a reason to pull people over because the seatbelt laws didn't even fucking change anything. They're telling you that you have less deaths with seatbelts. They're lying to you. Go look at the real statistics. It's all about taking rights away from us. And these all happen under all different Democratic and Republicans. All you did was, encourage planned obsolescence with the automobile is pretty much what crumple zones. You put crumple zones in the cars. You put the airbag in there, smashes people's face in, even if they get into a 10-mile-an-hour accident. They get into a 10, 15-mile-an-hour bumper, a tiny little bump, and next thing you know, the bag goes off, breaks their freaking nose, all this. And then in the old days, you could hit something fucking 15, 20 miles an hour. Yeah, it jolts you around, but you knew to don't smash your face on the steering wheel, So in other words, accidents at 85 miles an hour on the highway, pileups, don't save anybody's life, having all the safety shit that we claim we have. It didn't slow things down. So anyways, where else did we take the father out of the unit? So we also took the father out of the unit if the parents were divorced and getting divorced or splitting up or separating, right? Then one or the other would be paying the support. Oh, and I also want to talk to you about when we took the mother out of the unit, because you just happened to do that recently yourself. So we filled up the mothers over the years. We filled up the women's heads with the idea we programmed ourselves to believing that women's place was outside the home in the workforce. All better for taxes, all better for that, way worse for our children. Now our children are educated by this terrible education system that sucks. The math is garbage. It's all ridiculous mathematical equations that they will never use. They waste 6, 7 hours a day of our kids' time. Back in the old days, go right back to the 20s, 30s, 40s when it was less like that. And the indoctrination was not so heavy back then, at least not through the school system. Back then, it was through the churches more than the school system. But then once it got into the school system, then it just, oh my God, it's terrible. Church was only a couple hours, here and there per week, and then a little bit of social studies through the church and that kind of thing. But otherwise, it was not like when we started the real 6 hour days, 7, 8 hour days now of school. It's ridiculous. What a waste of time. See, back in the day, the mother could see everything that I'm telling you that you can see. The mother would have been the one in the house with reality. I won't even call it intelligence because we don't have anything. We don't have intelligence. It's ridiculous to even think that. It's all programming. Whatever you think is intelligence is just programming. But the mother used to have the freedom to do that. And even if she was teaching them biblical shit back then, I would have taken it. That would have been better than what we're learning today, this false science, and the new religions. Because the new religions of today, that's what they are, scientific, political nonsense. But, your mother could have taught you your basics and all that. So we lost all that. We got away from all that. So now the state raises our children, no matter what way you want to look at it. So you have anger over all these other things that are going on, and you have real anger, but you're not stepping outside the box to look at it's your side too. Your side as well as all the other sides is fucked up and part of the problem in a big, big way, Now, all the shit that I'm telling you and the stuff that I'm going to be showing you in these videos that are coming up in this series, it's not really anything that you're going to be able to go to Fox News Network and they're going to say, oh, yeah, go ahead, do a story on it. It ain't going to happen that way. They're not going to let this get out. This is not going to be let out very easily, right? So you would have to talk to one of the Freemasons, one of the higher-up Freemasons. For example, there's one that's going to be starting his own internet channel within the next 3 months, right? You're good friends with him, so you have an inside scoop. So go ahead and test it out. See if he's willing to laugh about it. Say, this guy's fucking nuts, right? Because that's what you're going to say. And then you can say, this guy's nuts, Mr. President. He's out of his mind. Let's laugh this guy right off the air, right? He's got this stupid little YouTube channel. He's got no subscribers. Unbelievable the shit that spouts out of this guy's mouth. I mean, ranking out everybody, every Republican supposedly a liar, right? So go ahead and try it. Guarantee you it ain't gonna go nowhere. He cannot. Okay, so when I voted for Trump back when Trump ran, I thought that maybe he could be outside the box. I thought maybe he knows everything. So if he knows everything that's going the way it's going down, maybe he's going to really try to pull back the rein. Kind of the same idea that we all thought Reagan was all about. We thought Reagan was like barely got in because the Bushes were running everything back then. They still do, actually. The Bushes, the Obamas, they do. They're all, everyone's connected. But anyways, back then it was the Bush family. Because when Bush Sr. was working for the CIA, that was a big part of it all. He was running everything. He was running all. Man, it was bad. The House of Bush, the House of Sod. The House of Bush, the House of Sod. Look, you like books. You guys like reading everything. That book right there will just... They come right out about it. They tell you all about it. It's not even hidden. It's just like the shit going on with Biden right now and stuff with the sun and the cookers and the cocaine and all the shit with Russia and everything. Yeah, they tell you right in your face. No, you can't be upset about Ukraine and pretend that you didn't know. Of course, we all knew it was going down this way. We know that Russia's going to take Ukraine. It was going to be this major war. We know that China's going to hit us up from the other side. We know that we're going to get hit financially. We know there's going to be bread lines. We know that it's all going down. We know the states are all going to be broken up. It's all known. We all know it. Why you guys are still pretending like you didn't know it, I don't know. I don't know. Just for entertainment purposes, I guess. Um, so the family unit. Because I jump around. I'm all over the fucking place. Okay, so the family unit. So the parents get split up. They get divorced, whatever. So the father's got to pay child support. Or the mother, depending on the situation. So he gets a little. Let's say the mother gets on welfare. Let's say she needs welfare benefits and stuff like that, right? So once you do that, and it's not just a matter of support, it makes life worse for everybody, right? Because the government gets involved. If the father has a job and he can pay full support of whatever the courts order him to pay, which is usually not affordable, uh, the mother will then marry on or get a new boyfriend, doesn't tell anybody about it because she still wants the support. So, not child support, but I'm talking alimony. So now the father doesn't want to give alimony because he finds out about the new boyfriend, so he cuts the checks down. Now she takes him back to court saying that he's not paying his child support. He gets into an argument and tells the judge, no, she's got her boyfriend living there, and the judge is going to say, it's none of your business. I mean, what do you care? You're paying alimony. She says the boyfriend's not living there until she's married. Then you can't say nothing about it. That means you're behind on your child support and your alimony. And he says, no, Your Honor, I was paying the child support. I just was not paying the alimony. And the judge is going to say what, Candace? What's the judge going to say? This has been all the way since the laws that Reagan put in. This has been going this way. And then the judge comes and says, okay, well, you're going to catch up on it. We're going to attach your paycheck, and you're going to have to catch up on it. And because you're not paying it, and he's going to say again, no, Your Honor, I did pay it. I paid my child support, just not my alimony, and I will catch up on the alimony. Oh, no, no, you didn't pay. If you're less than what you paid, if you didn't pay the full amount, then you can't separate them because this is alimony and child support together as far as your settlement was when you divorced, right? Because if it's just boyfriend and girlfriend, usually you can't get as much out of it unless it takes more. You have to hire another attorney to fight it. But anyways, the point I'm trying to get to is that eventually what's going to happen is if he gets behind on these payments, is under Reagan, they started a law that they would suspend your license. So they suspend your driver's license on you when this happens. And once they suspend your driver's license and you start missing a day here at work and a day there at work because you got pulled over for no driver's license. Now, it was not as bad, of course, back under Reagan's time because they didn't have a camera on every car and every light pole and everything like that. So it was just a matter of a coincidence if they happened to pull you over for, like I said, a smelly thing in your window, a sticker on your window that's not supposed to, they can pull you over for any fucking thing they want. And if they got to and if they think you look a little suspicious, a little too white, a little too brown, a little too whatever, then they have a right to have a reason. There's always a reason. Hey, you didn't have your seatbelt on. I pulled you over. It smells like pot in here. Whatever, And then you check your license. Your license has been suspended. So your license gets suspended, you get all screwed up. So by the time you're done, you're gonna lose your job, right? So okay, so the guy loses his job, has to go out and get another job. Meanwhile, no child support or alimony's getting paid at that point, right? Can't pay either one, so it's building up. She, let's say, goes and gets on welfare now because he's not paying none of his payments or whatever. So now if she was not on welfare already, then she's going to get on welfare. So now that guy has to pay child support to the welfare department, no longer to the wife. They'll go to court, they'll have a new case and everything like that, and they'll go on it. at that point, she's definitely not going to tell about the new boyfriend if she's going to get, because you can't not include another income to the household. Otherwise, she won't get the benefits. So the boyfriend usually lives with the girlfriend, takes advantage of the system, if you want to put it that way or whatever. You can say it that way. But that's still not the point I'm trying to get to, because it gets worse. So now at this point, the old man has lost his license and can't get a decent job again. The jobs that he's getting are shittier money. Can never catch up on his support. Can't catch up on his alimony or his support. No, things are really bad. He's living hand to mouth himself. He's living in a little shithole apartment because usually the support, child support and alimony is not conducted. What's the word I'm looking for? It does not match. It never does. Never. I never heard of a judge ever matching it. The numbers, however they work them out, do not work out because there's no way for any divorced man to go live on his own, get an apartment, unless he's, in the $200,000-$300,000 a year category. And then if you're in a higher category, you're used to living more expensively. So again, if a guy who makes 200-300 grand a year is forced to go live in let's say a $60,000 home, let's say somewhere, he ain't gonna like it. It ain't gonna be for him, right? And he's gonna feel like he's being tortured. He's gonna feel like, So I'll use another example. Somebody that's not used to so much money or whatever. Let's say there's somebody that made $40,000 a year. So at the time when all these laws started changing, they were making, let's say, 40 grand a year. Okay, so anyways, so he gets to a point where a year or so goes by. He's been laxed on all of his child support and everything like that, and time's clicking by. And then finally, at some point, he's in front of the judge, and the judge says, look, you owe whatever, $78,000 right now in child support and alimony. So, what do you want to do? Will you either have to get a job and make this work? You've been working, but you're working under the table, hiding from the courts your money. So you're working under the table because you got to be living somehow. So you got to be working, the judge will tell him, right? And so you either go get a job that's on the books. I don't care if it's only making $5 an hour, $4 an hour, whatever it is. I want it on the books because we're going to start attaching your pay. We're not going to keep doing this. And then the guy's going to say, well, Your Honor, I can't. You guys took my driver's license away because of being behind on my child support, which makes absolutely no sense. This is how it all gets started because you're taking the license away. How's he going to get back and forth to work, right? So, well, that's your problem. The judge will say, you either take the